that?
No, this is the first one I know of.
Oh, really? I think this is just wonderful. It's my spiritual neighbor said people just use that as an excuse to get drunk. And I was going to say, do you need an excuse? But I didn't say
This is something positive.
I think so too. I think it's marvelous.
What? A dream catcher and things that are, oh, that's which page?
That's my cousin.
No.
I think my
Do you have any more cider?
We're working on it
Well,
right
that's
now.
not cider. That's apple puffs.
Oh, we got some spice.
Well, just in case Bigfoot shows up to our bonfire, we're ready for him.
Yeah.
Rebuild the dream, and my big issue is that I want to rebuild the dream for American family. The family is the bedrock of civilization. We want a strong country, we need strong family. Unfortunately, our country has taken an anti-family stance and is causing a lot of pain to a lot of people through their national policies on child protection. Starting in 1973, the Child Abuse Act was passed. It's called CAPTA, the Child Abuse Prevention and Training Act. And it started something in this country where we as citizens and parents are abusing all children and should be reported.
Shut up over there.
So, my dream for this year and for every year is the project that I've been working on for the last 20 years, and that is to bring safety to parents and children. And this year, I wrote this letter for parents. I particularly wrote it for one parent who had contacted me and said that she was being reported by neighbors to CPS frequently, and that these were false reports. And I wrote the letter for her, and I put it on my website, which some of you know is fightcps.com, which is, by the way, the largest family rights website on the web today. Dear neighbors, someone called CPS. Was it you? Please read this letter before calling CPS again. I am honestly terrified of losing my children and implore you, if you are the one who makes the call, to let me know if I do something you think is wrong regarding my children, and do not call CPS again. My terror is nothing compared to the trauma my children suffer at the thought of losing me. Their home, their friends, their school, their pets, their toys, their grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and everything else that is part of their world. In the foster care system, siblings often even lose each other. You might think that foster care is a better place for children, but according to federal statistics, children are much more likely to be abused in state custody foster homes. In foster homes, many thousands of children have been abused emotionally, physically, and sexually. Many children have died in foster homes, many of whom were beaten to death by foster parents. A professor at MIT did a study on foster children and learned that their long-range outcomes are not good and that they are better off left in marginal homes if there is no extreme abuse going on. Most prison inmates were foster children. So I ask that even if you don't like me, please have mercy on my children and do not call CPS. It is a very dangerous government agency and not just for children. You're welcome to come to my house and advise me if you think I'm doing something wrong. Government is very intrusive these days and interferes with people for many reasons. We, the taxpayers, are the ones footing the bill for these intrusions. The cost of child protective services intrusions, the foster home placements, the services forced on parents are all running up our tax bills. State custody for children is very expensive. I would prefer a life where we as neighbors can help one another without having to call in government workers for every little thing. Please do not be afraid to contact me if you feel I'm doing something wrong. Do not be afraid to offer to help me. If you're afraid, show me this letter and let me know that something has to change if that's how you feel. But please do not terrorize my children. They are traumatized at the thought of being taken away. Thank you from a neighbor, written by Linda at ByCPS.com for someone in your neighborhood. I'd like to give you a little history, if I can, about the not the foster care system, but child protection services in general. It was started by federal legislation that is totally against the 10th Amendment of our Constitution. Our Constitution does not give the federal government the right to make laws about child protection services. In 1963, a list of communist goals for our country that were formulated during the Cold War was read to our Congress, and number 41 and 42 on that list had to do with breaking up families and taking children away from parents. In service in this country, that is why, and it's a long-standing problem, and obviously our problems in the country are getting a lot worse, not a lot better. So, yes, I'm just trying to rebuild the dream for families in our country so that children can stay with their parents and have a good upbringing. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Well said.
Good job.
Well said, Linda.